Hello, everyone. This is Natalie Armstrong-Motin, and my guest today is Kate Otting. How are you, Kate?
I'm doing great.
Excellent. So, Kate, I appreciate you sitting down to let me ask you a couple of questions about the course that you offer. It's in a really unique format and one that I find absolutely fascinating. The course that I'm talking about is called the new Mediator course that you have available in Tempe, Arizona. Give us a little overview of what this course is about.
Well, it's really the standard introductory mediation course, 40-hour mediation course. I used to run the Attorney General's mediation program here in Arizona. And back in the day, a 40-hour course, and as you probably know, the history of that 40 hours is it was sort of arbitrary why it was even 40 hours to begin with. But what I was finding is that busy attorneys would say to me, oh, on Tuesday I can't make it because I have a hearing, or somebody would say, I've got to dash out early because I got to pick up my kids from daycare, and oftentimes too, we would end at 2 o'clock, and people would say, gosh, I've blocked off the entire day all week. Is there a way to do this more efficiently? And so one of the things that I found is that I was oftentimes handing somebody a video and say, here, watch this video to make up for that time. Or here, do these worksheets. In fact, you can just take those worksheets home, these self-assessments. And so much of that content, and I also teach online. I supervise grad students in South Africa online, and I, teach at Arizona State University here. And I've learned, I was a skeptic. I was skeptic about ODR in the first place. Like I'm sure we all were, right? And I was a skeptic about teaching mediation, in particular online, because for years I've said mediation is one of those. It's one of those skills that you can't teach anybody by reading it in a book, by giving them a textbook. They really have to get it. It's like swimming, you have to get in the water and do it. And yet there is some, oh, Alexa, quiet. And so it's one of those things that I found that, but there is some pre-work that people can do. And a lot of it, I found people prefer to do in private. I know I do. If it's a self-assessment, I kind of want to take a look at it and kind of really, and one of the things that I think is really, that I find is very, very important is for us to take a look at our own gut reaction to conflict. And what is it that makes us afraid of conflict? We all have trigger points and they're all different, And so when people come to the course on Wednesday, usually, or the first day of class, usually I started on a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, sometimes it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but they come already having taken a look at their own assessment of their readiness, to approach conflict. And then they really kind of learn to embrace it. Well, here's what I'm afraid of. Here's what triggers me. Here's what makes me really emotional, or it's my own emotion that makes me afraid of mediation. So really kind of diving through all of that fairly deeply. So that's how the course works. So I've really siphoned off big chunks of the content that used to be done in the classroom and added additional content that people can take that's bonus content, really. A lot of people really want to go further. People over the years have said, do you have recommended reading? Do you have videos that I can watch? Because I really would like to see an opening statement in action. I'd really like to see what the transition point looks like. What does it look like when somebody finally gives a concession and the mediation starts to move toward negotiation? So I have all those points in videos, real cases, or role plays from the courses. So it's packed with a lot of additional content. And then, like I said, when people come to class, they're ready. And when I took the mediation course 25 years ago, I don't know about you, Natalie, but when I took that course, I was handed a script. It was so old school. I was handed a script. I was told to memorize this script, don't stray from the script. And what I have people do is they come to class and they speak from their own heart, because everybody should have their own style. We should not all be practicing one style of mediation. And so I have people really coming and learning a lot of what that means. By the time they start the class, they know what that means to speak from their own heart and use their own language. And for some people, it's legalese, and for other people, it's maybe comes from a more therapeutic language, or it's just lay terms, or maybe they speak metaphorically.
And so now, what kind of people are best suited for taking this kind of course? Who are
really anybody? I mean, I have in my next class coming up August 7th through 9th in Tempe, I've got some ombuds people who are taking the course. I have a few attorneys. There's a teacher, a few teachers. I've got some social workers that are taking the course. Some folks from Salt River Project here. It's our power company, and they're really committed to training all of their, especially the folks who work directly with the community, teaching them those skills. So it's a variety. and the nice thing is there are no prerequisites. I don't think any mediation course generally has prerequisites. So it's really suited for anybody. When I was at the Attorney General's office, my best mediator was somebody who had been a truck driver for 30 years and had no education to speak of beyond high school. And the best thing about this, she was a female truck driver, is that she had kind of seen everything. She had explored the world and really seen quite a bit of the world. And so she said, I come from the kind of the school of hard knocks. So she had so much empathy for people, in mediation, and was really open to hearing people instead of coming in with all the answers, which is what so many of us do, and so that's, I would say the greatest skill that a mediator can bring to the table is listening, and openness to listening and openness to learning what the parties have to say. And sometimes that can be taught, and sometimes people bring that in, right away from day one.
Well, mediation, in my experience, is part the science of the process, and then it's part art. And some of us are really strong on the scientific end of it, and some of us are really strong on the artistic end of it. Some of us can access both of those things on call as needed and use both of those skills, to best help our clients. But it really, it depends on the person, of course. So my next question is, when the course is concluded, for those of us in the legal industry or human resource industry, we can self-apply for continuing education credits. Mm-hmm. So we just submit everyone who finishes the course will get a certificate that says, Kate Otting has finished the 40-hour mediation course. And then you take that, you send it to whatever governing body is applicable for your industry. You get your CLEs. And then what?
So if it is a requirement to take to get a certificate, as you said, a certificate is issued that recognizes 40 hours of training. And so then what is really going to depend on the individual, what they need. So for the folks, say, at Salt River Project here, they're just meeting the baseline requirement of their job. So that 40-hour certificate is what they need. They come back and they get maybe professional development. I also have some folks from police departments that are taking the course, and so they're getting continuing education, professional development, and that may be all they need. Some folks want to become professional mediators. They want to hang out their shingle. They want clients. They want to make a living doing this. And so it's not necessarily a requirement of their existing job. This is a career they want to launch. And so I have another program, an add-on program called the IMA Mediator Pro. And that's really for professionals, that those folks that really want to become professional mediators. So I found that in the past, people would take the 40-hour course, and then they'd look around and say, wait, how do I get experience now? Who's going to give me feedback? I had all this great feedback in, in the course. I had a coach there to assist me. Now what? And I don't feel confident to actually start charging money. And so they maybe apply to volunteer for the court. And then there's this caught up in this endless cycle of, I'm spending so much of my time volunteering. When am I going to start making money? And where are the clients? And so, it's one of those things I've said to people, I've gotten to the point where I hate to say this, but I refuse to volunteer. I'm not going to give my time away, because what I do, I'm not only extraordinarily, passionate about it, but I also believe that it's such an important service that it's not something we should give away. There is value to this. That doesn't mean that, I don't do the occasional sliding scale. I have some clients that are sliding scale, maybe an NGO or nonprofit. I'm working with a group of women over in Kenya, and I've definitely worked something out with them. But for the most part, people are looking for, they want to get paid. And so I want to help people not make those mistakes, not just start volunteering and then give up. They abandon it. Or they would call me and say, how do I help? How did you do it? How do you get clients? Help me out. And, and I find myself going, oh my gosh, I can't take another, I want to pick your brain call. As much as I love helping people out, I also have to put bread on the table for my family. And, as with any profession, you can't give that stuff away for free. This is valuable. And so somebody made that call to me and said, you should offer a program in this where you are, because I was giving the same advice over and over and over, and I really wanted to go deeper into it. So the Pro program is a join for a month, or they can join for a year. And I give an incentive, quite an incentive. You get 2 months free if you do it sign up for a year. And in that program, you have an online supportive community of fellow mediators from around the world. We have weekly mediation simulations. I teach people how to do online mediation, how to meet on Zoom, just like you and I are doing. So they learn how to do that and then practice simulations. And I use real cases. Sometimes, in fact, I'm writing up one right now that is a case that I had last week. So it's fresh off the press, and they're real cases. And then we spend about 50 minutes mediating. I give them feedback. I record that, pop that into the Pro program, so other folks who didn't participate in that simulation can observe it. We spend some time with feedback, self-assessment, and then I also do monthly coaching calls, and I have customizable templates that people can use. So it's just packed with content, tons and tons. And then I do little webinars, and with each webinar, people can get another certificate of completion. Where every time they participate in a coaching call, they get a certificate of completion. So anybody who needs those continuing ed credits, CLEs, CMEs, CPUs, or whatever, CPEs, they can get that, on a continuing basis throughout their Pro program.
Excellent. All right, so the new mediator certificates course is what price and where, and what are the dates?
So the next one, I offer it about every 6 months. The next one is going to be August 7th, 8th, and 9th, 8:30 to 4:30, and that's in Tempe, Arizona. And I don't want to give out the exact location, because what I find is I have people who show up and say, I'm here. I like to pre-register people. I want to make sure that they get the homework done and get at least have a peek in there. But it generally is in Tempe. It's in a great location. The public rate, so if anybody who just signs up on my website right now until till Friday at noon Arizona time, it's $9.99 for the intro course. If people want to just add on 6 months of the coach simulation, it's $10.99. Or if they want to add a whole year, and that's like, it's a smoking deal. It's really a great deal. It's $11.99. So really for $200, they're getting another $1,000 package. So the value of that is $3,100.
Okay.
So.
Excellent. And what's the web address where people can find information about this course?
So IMAmediation.com is where they can go to find the course, and if you click on the tab New Mediator Training, they would get all of the information they need.
Excellent.
So,
Excellent.
yeah, for anybody who's watching your program, I've got a special offer. So it's IMAmediation.com/Natalie, and so they can get special pricing there.
There you go. It always helps to have a little name drop, doesn't it?
Right, yeah. And then the special offer for anybody who's, any of your viewers, Natalie, I've extended through August, let's see, midnight August 2nd. So it's basically extended an extra week. So not only are they getting a rate that's not on the published rate, I think it's about $200 off, but they also get an extra week to sign up.
Very nice. Thank you very much.
Don't tell anybody.
It's just extremely great.
You mean all your viewers.
All right. Kate Otting, thank you so much for your time and explaining this program. I will, of course, link the website and all of the information for people down below in the description bar. And I hope to talk to you again soon.
Okay, look forward to it. Thanks, Natalie.
Thanks very much. Listen, everybody, if you're interested in one of these programs, click the link below. As always, I invite you to like, subscribe, and share. And as always, be good humans. Thanks very much for watching.